Oh, good evening, my friends, and you are my friends, and this is Talking Town, your Matchday preview show. The Gov is on the sick bed tonight. He's the Darren Anderton of Talking Town, so hopefully he will be back soon. If you are watching live, please do hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Talking Town are partnered by Stowmarket Osteopaths. At Stowmarket Osteopaths, we focus on delivering the highest quality of patient care in a relaxed and welcoming atmosphere. Founded in 1985 and since then has grown and developed to meet the complementary needs of the communities of Stowmarket, Suffolk and beyond. We understand that no two people or injuries are the same. No matter what you need, we are here to help you every step of the way. And as he always says, say the Gov's, Freddie is the main man to see, but the Gov says that he has sent you to see Freddie. Cool. Made a mess of that, didn't I? 01449 613 633. Anyway, tonight it's Preston on Saturday. We've got Ollie from the Butter Pie podcast joining us about 8:20. But joining me first is the Zen Master. It's Mr. Mitz.
Namaste. Namaste. Love and light, Richard. Love and light to you all in the Talking Town community. It's wonderful to be here. I've calmed down. Calm down now. I'm all good. I'm all good.
Good evening. Good evening, Matthew.
How was the cricket show? All good?
What you weren't watching? Hey?
I was cooking me dinner. I've been shopping. I've been down Asda's and I was cooking me dinner.
Wow. Yeah, back from the wilderness series. The media mogul. Yeah, the cricket show was very good. We had to cut short because normally we can talk for hours on the cricket show, you know. And tonight we had to I think the Matt's got a cup of tea. Don't worry, Lee. Don't worry. I'm staying at Lee Bayliss's. On Friday night in Oldham. Looking forward to seeing Lee making a trip up. But if you didn't see the cricket show live, you can watch back at any time. And yourself, Matt, if you're watching, hit the like button. Hit the like button. And what does Gov always say? FTA.
I've got a new comment for the algorithm. I've got a new catchphrase for Stowmarket Osteopaths. If your back's giving you flack, give Freddie a call. I think that would do the job, wouldn't it? We could maybe incorporate that into their marketing. But I'm back from the wilderness, Sheriff.
You're back,
it's
baby.
Cold and lonely in their prairies, but I'm back from the wilderness.
Well, talking of wilderness, Striker Wilderness, Matthew.
Striker Wilderness. I put this in the Discord. See, this is one of the points I wanted to make Sunday, but oh my God, so Gallagher is now no longer for sale. So we've been We've spoke 1 million, 1.5, 2, and then suddenly he has a good game against Wrexham. Has he turned heads there? I don't know. And now he's not available. What's going on?
If your back is giving you flack, don't just sit back. React and give Freddie a call.
There you go. Well done, Gov. His throat's not very good, but his
Gov's got no voice. He's got no voice, but his fingers and his mind are working overtime. Sam Gallagher. Look, obviously, I don't think they're keeping him off the back of playing well against 2.5 million, Owen. Don't know if they'll go that far. I'm not sure what'll happen tomorrow. There could be a Talking Town tomorrow. There could be a Talking Town tomorrow if there's any transfer activity. I'm sure we will be. We will be going live probably about 5 to 11 tomorrow night, burning the candle.
We have done one before, haven't we? When Morsey signed, do you remember? That was a transfer third day deadline one, wasn't it?
Look, it's not ideal, is it, Matt? When you're scrambling around at the 11th hour. Obviously, we made the signing, didn't we? On Monday, Ali Al-Hamadi.
Brilliant.
What's your thoughts there?
Well, I watched the show with you guys. Really good. But as we said on the phone when I was driving back to Chelmsford earlier, my worry is, and your worry as well, of course, is that if he doesn't suddenly step up, because it feels like all the expectation is on him right now as the only striker in the building that we've signed. League Two to Championship is a huge gulf, isn't it? To bridge. But yeah, I'm excited for him. As we said on Sunday's show, he's probably one for the future. Caden Jackson replacement, pace to burn. So very exciting. But I certainly wouldn't be putting all my eggs in the basket of him leading the line. But look, needs must maybe on Saturday.
I see some clips, Matt, on I think Tuesday. It was when he played at Stamford Bridge. They played Chelsea in the League Cup earlier in the season.
That's right.
Now he's obviously playing against Premier League players there, and he was a pest, and he was quite strong, and he was running the channels.
Brilliant.
I get that he's played well in that game, but I said at the time, and I said to Craig and Phil when we done the show Monday, he's a 21-year-old, right? He's coming from League Two. Don't expect too much too soon. But there's the fear that if we don't get anyone tomorrow, people are going to be expecting really big things, because where we sit in the division at the minute, we're second. Look, he scored goals. He's got 13 in the league, 17 all total. I think he got 27 in 44 games for AFC. Brilliant.
Done really well.
But the jump up is huge. I'm not saying he can't do it, because there is players who've come from the lower reaches. Could he be our Ivan Toney? Could he?
Yeah.
We hope he can, because obviously you've given him that 4.5-year deal. So obviously you've seen something there. Obviously, before George Hurst got injured, we were looking at a striker anyway, weren't we?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So this, I don't know if he was he number one target. There was a lot of talk about Stansfield, wasn't there? Obviously, staying out at Birmingham for the rest of the season. So,
well, that's a good point, isn't it? Because as you said to me earlier, like, how long have some of these deals been in place? It sounds like, if you read, we've been listening to his interview with Town on YouTube, it sounds like this conversation with Al Hamadi had been going 3 weeks plus. So they kept that well under wraps, haven't they? So who else might be under wraps? We know of Gallagher, just because the news has leaked out from Blackburn or Blackburn fan sites, wherever it may be. So you have to presume there might be something else in play. Let's hope something else is in play. Obviously, we're not going to have the striking options, are we?
Yeah, look, I know these deals take time, and he said he'd spoke to Kieran on the phone. I suppose it was a little bit different for him, Matt, because he was obviously away with Iraq, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And they've got to do it by Zoom, but I think we probably.
They got the shirts out there.
The shirts were out there. I don't know if are they selling them out there? Can you
down the shop?
Can you get a town home and away shirt? I don't know, but it was obvious they stole a bit of a march, I think, on other teams, because there was
very good.
Quite a lot of teams sort of looking at him and chasing him, but I think Town probably got in there early. Yeah. I see Johnny Jackson has said he's had his head turned a little bit, which is understandable, but he's in a bit of a rush. He's in a bit of a rush. When you look at his career pathway, I think he was at Tranmere when he didn't make it there. I think he'd had trials at Derby. I think Nottingham Forest had trials. Bournemouth. Then he went to Wickham. Then he went out on loan and played for, was it Bromley he played for?
I think he did.
Played on loan. Played against Town in the game last season at Wickham when we lost 1-0.
Yeah. The biggest entourage ever.
But didn't really pull up any. Two coach Gareth Ainsworth. I've never seen anything like it. But he never pulled up any trees there, did he? And it's only
he still was on the radar. No,
it's only now when he'd just been at AFC for 12 months. He's had a great 12 months there, and then I think it was not the top 20 pod. They targeted 3 players from I think League Two who could make the step up in January, and he was one of them.
He was one, yeah.
So look, I think it's a really exciting signing, but I think it's a signing that you're thinking maybe not for now. I know a lot of Town fans will want it for now because where we are, but let's just see how he goes, Matt, and let's hope he scores an early goal in his first 2 or 3 games and takes the pressure off himself, because there is the pressure. But then I did hear him speak when he's speaking to Marcus on that interview. He seems really, really confident.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he seems a good lad as well, because he's sent that message, isn't he, to Wimbledon fans?
Yeah, great message. Great message.
And if you cast your mind back, we spoke about Morsey on deadline day when he left Wigan to go to Middlesbrough. He took out an advert in the local paper in Wigan and wrote them a letter saying what a great time he'd had at the club. Fantastic to be your captain. So again, you're seeing examples. So that's someone towards the end of their career, and here's Al Hamadi at the start of his, and what a great character. But as we said, people were saying in the Discord, being a good player and being a good character that will fit into what McKenna calls the group, he goes part and parcel, doesn't it?
But obviously, I think the Marvin Johnson talk has cooled a little bit. I had a rumour today, Brandon Williams probably going to be returning to town, which I think is good news.
It's good news. If he comes as the player we know he can be.
Yeah,
right?
I think if he can get himself up to fitness. So I think there, you're not going to really need a fullback if he is actually coming back. So I think tomorrow you're going to be refreshing your phones and your laptops and everything tomorrow, Matt, because you're going to be thinking, is a striker coming? Is a striker coming? I see tonight Kiefer Moore still linked with, I think, Sunderland, Cardiff and Town, but it says that all teams are quite away from agreeing sort of a fee for his wages. So this is probably one that's going to go. I reckon this is going to go right to the end of the window.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
I think we'll get somebody. Will it be Gallagher? Will it be Moore? Or will it be, what's this German? I've heard some rumours from the Bundesliga. Matt Phillips is a massive Bundesliga fan.
We can actually go over to our Frankfurt expert. Hold on a second, everybody.
Yes. Here he is.
Guten Tag. Wie geht es Ihnen?
Costume change.
Like Elton John, this, isn't it? Elton John at the OT, this. Yeah, I've followed Eintracht for a long time. So, yeah, Jessic Ngankam is the player we've been linked to. And he signed for Frankfurt in the summer from Hertha Berlin.
21?
He's a young lad, 21, 22, might even be 23, actually. He reminds me of, do you remember Obafemi Martins? He's that kind of player.
Oh, yeah. He had a great celebration at Obafemi Martins.
Yeah.
Somersault, didn't
he? Yeah, exactly. I don't know if he does that because he's only scored 2 goals in the German Cup. But Ngankam is one of these they had high hopes for, and he's not. He's quick, he's powerful. Like I say, he's like Martins, he's very stocky. But Dino Topmüller, the manager at Frankfurt, who come in the summer, his dad was Klaus Topmüller, who was the Leverkusen manager when they played Madrid and the Zidane volley in the Champions League. Remember that at Hampton Park?
Yeah. What a goal.
He brought Ngankam on in a game just before Christmas against Augsburg, and he had a really good chance on the edge of the 6-yard box. He skewed it wide, and he was really critical of Topmüller since, and he's hardly featured since. And Topmüller said he's not got enough composure to play for us in front of goal. So I think it's been linked with what? Us, Royal Antwerp, Luton, Mainz, who are in the relegation zone in Germany. So I don't know. Whether he seems to be too close to Al Hamadi for me. He's not that kind of George Hurst striker. He's quick and he's that kind of character, I think. But I don't know. Watch his space. Who knows? I mean, look, it could be a curveball come out of nowhere.
Yeah. I think he said about a 9. I think it was. I think Ali Maxwell had wrote a piece for the Not the Top 20, and there was a load of stats about Al Hamadi, but then he was on about they were on about George Hurst, and there is a dearth, Matt, of number 9s available.
Yeah, there is. I agree with that.
There are not many out there. There's not many out there. There's one. This is quite a good segue because we can bring in Ollie from the Butter Pie podcast. There's a striker who plays for you, who played for Town, who would fit perfectly in our system, and I'd take him every day of the week. Is Will Keane. I don't know what you think, Ollie, but thanks for joining us anyway.
Hi, thanks for having me on. I've got a bit of a different background. I'm in my missus is at the moment, so you'll have to deal with the nice pink wallpaper. But yeah,
no worries.
Very fetching.
I know. It goes well with my eyes. But Will Keane, yeah. To be fair, we brought him in, and I think we needed a bit of experience up top. Just having someone to be able to play off the sole number 9 is the role that he really likes to play and did play at Wigan. But in terms of actually having Will Keane, we actually have played him as a sole 9 at some points at the start of the season when there was injury turmoil, and he did fantastically well. And he's been in and out of the team all season. And then he scored like two goals in 2 games, and then gets.
Is that through injury, Ollie, that he's been in and out of the team?
Not all form wise. And to be fair, he's been probably our signing of the season. But Ryan Lowe at the moment, he's under a lot of pressure, and he's chopping and changing the players, the formations, and it's at this stage now where if it doesn't work this one game, it gets changed rather than letting it, develop, because we've won 5 games in 23, so he's having to change things, and if it doesn't work, he's just chucking it out. So he doesn't really allow for partnerships like Keane and brought in Osmajic in the summer to really mature when, to be fair, if they started working together, I think there'd be a real partnership.
Interesting. What's the vibe with Lowe at the moment then, Ollie? Because obviously, you started off the season great, didn't you? And it's kind of like, you've gone down the table slightly, haven't you? Like you say, 5 wins in what, 20 odd? You say
20, yeah, in 23 games. The vibe's not very good at the moment. I'd say the majority, 9 fans out of 10 want Lowe gone. And to be fair, the main reason behind it is he talks a lot of game, but never really backs it up. It's fine to be a mid-table team and, just say that's how we are. But he talks up such a big game. I mean, the comments that he sometimes says in the press get taken out of context. But, we have a club captain, Alan Brown, who's out of contract in the summer. He's 6 months left on his deal now.
Is he off to Italy?
He's not off to Italy.
I see tonight he might be going to Salernitana. Bottom of Serie A.
It got announced that we turned down an approach for him, but that's a massive player for us who's done 400 appearances to be let his contract run down to the last 6 months. It doesn't really give a lot of thanks to loyalty. He's been our best player this season, and Lowe comes out in the comments about a week ago and says it's not all about Alan Brown. So I mean, it may be taken out of context, but that's not really going to get a player to sign on for you.
Is that why he was on the bench? Is that why he was on the bench last Saturday at Millwall?
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't think Ryan Ledson, coming off the bench and giving away a penalty against Leeds away, probably doesn't warrant a start over Alan Brown, does it?
Can we discuss that penalty? Because for me, I was watching it, and it's a penalty all day long. Yet your manager, I listened to him on Sky after that game, and I'm thinking, were you watching a different game? Because he's had his arm out. It's hit him straight on the arm. It's a nailed-on penalty. You actually played quite well in that game, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought we did fairly decent, and I always look at penalties and think, if it was roles reversed and we didn't get given that penalty, would I be fuming? Yes. So it's a penalty.
Yeah. Looking at it,
it's a clear penalty. He's come up, he's hit his arm, outstretched arm, and it is what it is. But yeah, we play fairly decent. We just don't really seem to, put our stance on the game. We don't really create enough clear-cut chances for our strikers with obviously Keane or Osmajic, but we're very much reliant on a couple of players to be able to do that creativity compared to the formation. We're playing a 5-back, so that relies heavily on the wing-backs being creative.
I was going to say you wing-backs, aren't you? Mm.
Yeah, wing-backs. I mean, we've got one where it's Liam Miller, who's up and down the wing like no tomorrow. He's very forward.
Very good player.
Brilliant in one-on-ones and a brilliant player. And then you've got Brad Potts, who's probably the polar opposite. He's still a good player and has had a fantastic season, but he's very lopsided in the side of, you've got a wing back who's brilliant at one-on-ones, and another one that's just a box-to-box midfielder that's been played out at right wing back. So you've got two different things, and I just don't think they gel. You've got to have creativity coming on both sides. And I feel like we're lacking that on the right-hand side compared to the left-hand side. So
it's going to be it's going to be an interesting battle Saturday then, Ollie, because we'll obviously have Leif Davis on one side, Wes Burns on the other. So I mean, the play down the flanks is probably going to be key.
It'll be the battle of flanks. I think at the at Portman Road, Brandon Williams, his goal where he just ran through our entire midfield. So it's very solely based on the flanks. I'll also think it's probably a midfield battle We like to sit in a low block, and it's only a matter of time. If you're able to break us down and get an early goal, then we'll open up, and it could be more.
But don't count on it. We couldn't do that to Maidstone, Ollie.
Don't get him started again.
Don't get me started on that. I'm the Zen master now. I've got to be chilled. But you've got some good players in that midfield, haven't you? Like you say, Miller. I think Ben Whiteman's a good player. Brad Potts has been around the block, hasn't he?
Yeah. Alan Brown. So the sole, I mean, the sole three, as I would say, the three that we have in central midfield is usually Ali McCann, Ben Whiteman, and Alan Brown. But going off this now, we've brought in Mads Frokke Jensen, who was a signing in the summer.
Yeah.
For me, he has to start every game. He's our most creative player.
Good player.
He's been fantastic in the past couple of games, and it shows, it shows what we've needed, because it's kind of how it feels as a North End fan. Sometimes it's, we've got the defensive midfield, and they're quite cooperated and fine. And then there's three up the top. We'll lump it to you, but you've got to do it all yourself. And there's nothing there that's able to intertwine it. And Mads is that kind of player. So for me, this midfield, we're probably going to have to go less defensive minded, because we've just been stuck in this low block system. We're not scoring goals, and what's that only going to bring if you don't score goals? You're going to concede, and you'll end up losing games.
So what's the difference? What's the difference, Ollie, between obviously the first 10 games when you were flying high in the league to the next, like you say, 5 wins in 21? What's happened?
I think Lowe's got overcomplicated, if I'm honest. I think, weirdly enough, the injury situation kind of forced him to play one way and one system only with the same players. And ever since players have come back from injury, some of our better players, as you mentioned, Ben Whiteman there, we brought in Osmaich in the summer. He's kind of been trying to fit his best players onto the pitch, but maybe that's not the best thing to do. He's trying to put probably, square pegs in round holes, or whichever way you want to have a look at it. And it feels like he's trying to get his best players on the pitch at all costs, no matter, what the way that they could play. Like, Ben Whiteman's a brilliant playmaker, sits in front of the back line, but he doesn't really, he's not really as good as defensively minded as someone like Ali McCann, who would probably push out of the team just to fit Ben Whiteman in there. So it depends. Sometimes I think he's overcomplicated it, and he's got to the situation now where he's needing to try new things every game, chop and change it, because his job's on a very, very thin edge.
Is he really on the line? Is it? You think another couple of defeats and he could get the chop?
Well, he had the dreaded club statement about 5 games ago, where they said, the performances haven't been up to standard, but we're putting our full backing behind the manager. To me, that sounds like, we've been right up to FFP apparently for ages. That sounds to me like we don't want to pay out for our manager to be removed, because he's brought in about 8 different staff as well. So it's not just a one-man job where you're getting them off the books. You can't go on more than 5 wins in 23 games, to be fair. It's relegation form at the end of the day. And
you could soon see that dreaded corner flag picture, Matt, on Twitter when the club put out the statement. There's a corner flag. Preston North End can announce Ryan Lowe, we've let him go. I always liked him. I thought he was a really good manager, obviously, when he was down at Plymouth.
With Schumacher as his assistant.
I like how he talks, but obviously, look, something's not right, because when you... What was your expectation at the start of the season for how you thought you might do?
To be fair, I thought we had a fairly good summer. And, the first couple of games, you probably get a bit excited as a North End fan, we're going to be the next Luton Town and be all up and against it in the playoffs. But I think you've got to be realistic as a North End fan. I can see Charlie's put there again. Realistic for us is mid-table, and it always has been. Let's not beat around the bushes. But then again, I'd like to be challenging around the playoffs. It only takes, a couple of good players. Liam Miller's one of them, who's a playoff team playing player, if that's anything to go off. You know, he's of the standard that he's won and he's good enough for it. So to be fair, it only needs a couple of players in your team to get you in and amongst it. And you know, if you do make the playoffs, it's 3 games that could potentially change how your team is for 10 years to come. Even if you go up and come back down with the parachute payments, it completely changes.
I'm looking at Matt. I'm looking at the league table, and obviously Preston sitting 12th. 29 played, 11 wins, 6 draws, 12 defeats, minus 12 goal difference. Blimey.
Yeah.
But 39 points, and then you look at Coventry in 6th on 44. So it's only 5 games. If you could put a run to get together of like 3 or 4 games where you could maybe win 3, draw 1. But like you say, when you've won 5 in 21, that doesn't probably look likely that it's going to happen, does it?
No. I mean, if you look at it, if you take away the first 10 games of the season and just put our league standings for the past 23 games, we'd be horrendous. We'd be absolutely horrendous. And I think them first 10 games have saved us from being pulled into the relegation battle, to be fair. You know, albeit I do look at the league table, but, you know, when I do come and speak on the podcast and stuff, the main thing for me is the form table. Even if we're, you know, talking against Ipswich and like if we're talking against Swansea, I was on the Swansea podcast and I was like, listen, you know, you're 5 places below us, but your form, you've won 3 in the past 5 and 1 draw, and we've lost 4 and drawn 1. I said, that's the main thing to look at, the form guide, because we are horrendous at the moment.
Yeah, if you look at the last 10 games, guys, so you sit 18th. So you got obviously Blackburn falling off a cliff. 5 points from the last 10. You're 18th, so 2 wins, 3 wins actually. You got 11 points. But then you look at teams like you look at Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, when you look at the form table, Matt, they're sitting in 9th. They've got 15 points, so they're on the upward trajectory. Whereas but like you say, probably the first 10 games, Ollie, is probably you're nearly at 39 points. So you're obviously nearly at that 40 points. You probably get 45, 46, and you're going to be safe, aren't you? So look, I think it'll be a hard game Saturday coming to deep.
No, it will.
Obviously, we're not free scoring at the minute, are we, Matt? And we're still sort of scrambling around and that bargain basement looking for a striker.
Yeah. What are your defenders like then, Ollie? Because you've got Liam Lindsay in the middle there, Story and Hughes. How do you think someone like a Broadhead, if he plays, or Connor Chaplin just behind them, how do you think they're going to fare? Because they're not particularly physical-looking players, but you know, they've got the skill, the technique, dangerous around the box.
Yeah, I mean, Lindsay has probably been the only defender who could take some credit from the season. I think he's been superb, but he's superb against big commanding strikers. You know, he's quite tall himself, but in that sense, he's quite slow as well. So Hughes and Story do have to try and make up for, you know, the speed part of the game. So I mean, you've got Broadhead and Chaplin, especially Chaplin's I think he'll probably be the main player to watch this Saturday if he's able to, you know, get in and behind the back line, and I think he could cause them some real problems. Woodman also in net. He's not had the best time this season, albeit past couple of weeks he's brought his form back a bit because he did end up getting, isn't he,
generally?
Well, he got dropped. He got dropped due to his form. You know, when we first signed him, I was like, what a brilliant signing. And for the first couple of seasons, I was thinking, you know, he's fantastic. But, you know, with the team as well, the form, I think even Woodman, a couple of goals that he conceded were so.
They've got another good goalkeeper, Matt, by the name of Di Cornell, of days gone by at town. When he signed Ollie, Martin, who the host, he had a Northampton guy, didn't he?
Yeah,
he was talking to him about Di Cornell, and he's like, "What do you think of him?" And basically, he said, "He's shit."
To be fair to Di, he doesn't really put a foot wrong. You know, he's coming as a second choice keeper, and the games that he's played, barely minimal. He's done all right.
You've got some great hairstyles. You've got a lot of top knots at Preston, haven't you? You've got Cornell, obviously Will Keane,
Brad Potts.
Potts has he's got one.
We've lost ours. Wes has lost his. Wes Burns.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Hopefully he's not lost his powers. Hopefully Saturday when he's playing, he'll be running down the wing and he'll still be as good as he was before.
He's got a hell of an agent guy called now, Ollie. I mean, look, he left us, didn't pull up any trays, and he ends up with Peterborough in the Championship. Now he's sitting on your bench.
Well, yeah. To be fair, I think quite a lot of players have good agents. I remember that Chupo Moting at Stoke, how he managed to go to PSG and buy him beyond me. Yeah,
unbelievable.
So, you know, it's not always the player; it's the agent as well.
Yeah,
but as you mentioned, you know, Wes Burns and was it Leif Davis? Obviously, he was on North End's books when he was very young. Got poached by Leeds early on. I'm not going to go into academy because I'll end up losing my stuff at North End, throwing away good academy graduates. But you know, they're going to be vital. It's going to be Liam Miller versus Wes Burns, and it's going to be Brad Potts against Leif Davis.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it?
It's going to be a good battle to see.
One player we've not mentioned yet is the other lad up front, Jacobson.
Emil Reese Jacobson. Yes.
Yeah. What's he bring to the table?
Well, he's just come back from an ACL injury. Before he first got injured, he was actually touted to go to Borough for about 9 million, and he was about to go through with it. But yeah, he's quick. He looks quite lanky, but he's quick and he's quite powerful. And Bayek, does he have a powerful shot behind him? It can be frustrating at times. He can be caught offside. He likes to play on the last man, so to speak. But he's starting to build quite a good connection with Mads Rocky Janssen. I'm not too sure if that's just the Danish connection, but they spend a lot of time outside of obviously football together. So I think within any job, you're probably going to be working better with your mate than anyone else. So he's very raw with what he is. I mean, he's 25-year-old, but he's still got very raw abilities. You know, he's fantastic at a couple of things. He's also quite good at link-up play, but in terms of like heading or like hold-up play, he's probably not the best type of striker, and that's kind of what we have for Osmajic. We've got a hold-up striker there, back against the wall. So, you know, we have got a few options there. It's just, you know, where Lowe wants to see what will probably be best against your defence, whether that's going to be lumping it long to Osmajic for a hold-up play or having Keane and to Reece to pull your back line out and have Keane to roam in the middle there. Who knows? We'll just have to see what Lowe sticks with, and I'm not optimistic with that.
Just a couple, Matt. Sean Gladden, €4.99 super sticker in the chat, and David Bergine, €50.
All the way from Dublin, David, Ollie. Yeah. Across the IC. Top man, David. Two things for you, Ollie, before we let you go. What is a butter pie? Is this a Preston dish?
Yeah, so it's a Prestonian dish. To put it lightly, it's a cholesterol pie. So it's butter, it's potato, and onion, and that's it.
Okay.
So you have to give it a try. I know it sounds bland, but
do they sell them anywhere near the ground?
They'll sell them in the ground. They'll sell them outside the ground. Anywhere that you're able to get your hands on it, it'll be there.
Make sure you get one,
Rich.
So
put a bit of gravy on it, and put a bit of brown sauce on it as well if you like brown sauce, and it's a winner.
That's a pie. I'm getting one of them Saturday when I'm up there.
We have a question. We have a question for you. Is if you still got? I've never been to Deepdale. I'm not going Saturday either. I very rarely leave Essex, quite frankly. But do you still have the portraits on the seats at Deepdale? You've got the player portraits, haven't you?
Yeah. So
Finney.
When it's empty, yeah. When it's empty, yeah. But obviously, when it's half filled, I should say, you're probably not being able to see it. But yeah, we do still have the portraits there.
Who are they? Who are they of?
I think Tom Finney.
Tom Finney's one.
Senior. I think Bill Shankly.
I was going to say Shankly's one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think because Bill Shankly. I'm having to think. I know it's called Bill Shankly Cop, but I'm not too sure if it's Bill Shankly actually on it. But there's none on the Invincibles. So I think Alan Kelly Senior for Alan Kelly Town End. I'm guessing they're going to be the pictures of the people that they're named after. So Alan Kelly Senior, Sir Tom Finney on the main stand, and then in the away end it'll be Bill Shankly for Bill Shankly Cup.
For those that are going Saturday, Ollie, what's Deepdale like as a stadium? Like Maidstone came and saw us at the weekend, right? Don't get me started on that again. But they were saying, what a great stadium, old school style stadium. And I always get the impression Deepdale is probably very similar to Portman Road.
Yeah. I've always asked this, and the away podcast always says it's a fantastic away day, one of the best away days. For me, it's one of the nicest stadiums in the EFL. I think it's because it's different. It's not really it is quite new in a sense, probably about 15, 20 years.
Because I remember the last time I went there, because you used to have 3 sides, didn't you? And then the side where the dugouts was.
Yeah.
I don't think that was redeveloped. That's been done now, hasn't it?
So what the Invincibles is, there's still like no upper tier. I think they were trying to do that for hospitality, but just threw it off at the end. So it's kind of like 3 main stands. I mean, the Invincibles is still a main stand, but it's only like the lower tier. And then they do have the hospitality boxes, but then above it, there's just some banners across it, just stopping out the open bit of the top. But it's unique. It's not a soulless bowl. It's a unique stadium.
I remember they used to have the football museum there, didn't they?
That's right.
They did.
Yeah,
and then they moved it to Manchester.
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Very good.
It was all right. And then they moved it to Manchester. It used to be in the corner down by where Finney's is, where the new fan zone is, actually. So if
one thing I'm glad of that he's no longer at Preston, Matt, is David Nugent. Because he was a little pest. I mean, every time he played Preston, he'd score, wouldn't he? Every time he played for Portsmouth, he'd score.
He'd run over to where I was. It always felt like he ran over to where I was, Ollie, either doing this.
He'd done that. He'd done that at Portman Road when they beat us 4-0. And he done it to the north stand and he ran over. It was a really sunny day start of the season. Literally stood there in front of him and he was getting pelters. But he loved it. He was a really good player. I really wish. We tried to sign him, didn't we, once when I think Jim Magilton was there. So it was a shame that we didn't. But
we've had some top players over the years. David Nugent. I mean, we brought him back when he was 35 and that kind of ruined it a tiny bit because it was like he was running in.
Talking of ex-Preston and Ipswich, so Joe Garner, a scorer of one of the best goals I've ever seen in the playoffs, that volley.
Yes.
Today, left Carlisle. Oldham. He signed for Oldham. He's teaming up, Matt, with James Norwood. Just a couple of shithouses up front. Garner
what
and
a combo! What a combo!
Yeah, unbelievable.
If they don't get promoted, I don't know what else they can do.
Spending some wedge.
One of them clubs that shouldn't be down there in the first place. We sometimes clubs are only as good as their owners, right? And they've been taken down there, haven't they? Yeah. Well, we're going to let you go, Ollie. Thanks for your time, mate. Fantastic to talk to you. What do you think? We're going to put you on the spotlight now. What do you think the score's going to be? What are you and your Preston brethren thinking Saturday?
I'm going to go 3-1 Ipswich.
Oh yes, okay. Come on.
I'll let you back on.
Where's a good place to drink? Any good pubs around?
Any
for the away
recommendations?
Well, I mean, it depends how you're coming. If you're coming by train, the ground's always about a half an hour walk, which is probably one of the downsides of it. If you do go into obviously the city centre area, there's obviously quite a few pubs. There's this one called the Northern Way on Friday. That's always nice. It's got a nice selection. There's 2 Spoons, completely up to yourselves if you wanted to pop down into there. But there's loads of choice. The second you walk off the train, if you come by train, you're all there about it, and it's about a 25-minute walk to the stadium. But yeah, there's some great tipple spots in Preston if you're making the trip.
Lovely.
Where can our audience hear your podcast? Ollie,
so you can hear the Buttle Pie podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I shouldn't say Apple Music, and then Google and any of your really nice streaming sites. You'll be able to hear my lovely voice.
There you go. Thanks very much, mate.
Stop,
all the best.
Good luck. Thanks for having me on, guys. See you later.
Mate.
See you later. All the best. Here we go. So you're going to treat yourself to one of those, are you?
Crunch has pulled it out of the hat again. Good guess there, Ollie. And for any Town fans going, just 11 miles away, you can go to Chorley Football Club, right? Are you going to watch promotion chasing Ipswich Town away at Preston? We have a great day lined up at our Paul Mariner Sports Bar and Social Club, because obviously Chorley was where he played, Matt.
It's got Colin's name written all over this.
If you're heading, Colin, unfortunately, is going by bus. So he won't be able to stop there, because I think it's 11 miles. Chorley is actually where Steve Parry lives.
It is, isn't it? They must have a portrait of him up above the door there. Surely.
Mine's been very sarcastic there. Look, everyone give Rich a clap for the guest. He really wants them. Now, we had a little bit of discussion. Right, we'll see how the audience play this, Matt. So on a Matchday preview show, do you like fans from other clubs coming on and telling us about them? There you go.
Especially when they're as good as Ollie and some of the other ones we've had on.
People in the chat, let us know what you think.
Are you gonna get yourself one of these butter pies then? Will the boys be up for it as well?
I think I will. Well, Lee Bayliss says we can go for breakfast. The breakfast up there is about £6.
Is it really?
Get in.
Yes. Yeah. So are you staying with Lee? Or are you?
Yeah, we're staying at Lee's. No, we're staying at Lee's Friday night. We're crashing around there.
Wow. How many rooms has Lee got in this mansion?
There'll be room. Don't worry. Take his sleeping bags. We'll be fine. There you go. Steve Parry says he'll buy me.
Oh, there you go.
Parry's sitting next to me.
We want photos for the Discord.
He's sitting next to me. Steve's sitting next to me.
Photos.
Lee Bayliss to one side of me. Steve Parry to the...
Now,
what's the song? Stuck in the middle of you. Parry to the left of me. Bayliss to the right. Here I am.
Here I am. Is it true that Steve Parry is actually smaller than me? Is this correct?
Steve Parry is actually quite short. Yes.
Is he? What are you thinking?
Stuck in the wilderness with you. You're never going to live this down. You're never living that down, Matt.
Well, I mean, that's a lovely segue to what I would like to have spoken about on Sunday. There's a few questions here, right?
Go on.
Because Charlie says, are we at a crossroads? I kind of feel like we are. I've got a question for you, right? So,
did you used to watch that when you were younger, Crossroads?
It used to be on like weekday in the afternoons, didn't it?
ITV.
For our younger viewers, that was a soap around a.
I think Gov would have enjoyed that.
Yeah, that'd have been his cup of tea, that wouldn't it?
Yeah,
certainly because he likes.
I see something last.
Steve Parry's 5'8". Really?
I see something for Gov last night. I should have sent it to him. There was a bit on Twitter, a minute and a half monologue of angry Jim McDonald from Coronation Street. Do you remember Jim McDonald?
Sounded very much like Jim Magilton.
Very angry Irishman. It was great. It was fantastic. If I can find it, I'm going to put it on the WhatsApp group because
stick it in the Discord.
Liz.
So there we go. Look, here's some questions.
Oh, he's seen it. There we go. So I have, Liz.
So I have. Question then for you, Rich, and for everyone in the comments here, right? So this is kind of stuff I was trying to allude to on Sunday. So off the back of Maidstone, I said it was a big week, wasn't it? Now, we would say that this is probably the biggest blow. The Maidstone defeat, our worst in our history, result in our history, biggest blow in McKenna's coaching career to date. You know, how do we think he's going to bounce back? Because like he's been invincible to us all, invincible armor. But is there a bit of a tear in the Superman's cape? Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's that is at a crossroads, isn't it? How will a young manager who's had it all his own way suddenly bounce back from what was, you know?
Yeah, I think I was saying. I think it's only about 10 or 11 defeats he's had. Obviously, we went out to Colchester, didn't we, in the to the Cup? I think that was last season when he was manager. Look, I can divide it. See, Cup over here, league over here.
I like you've decompartmentalised.
Yeah, that's how I'd look at it.
Okay.
And obviously, you can say he didn't have a first choice 11. I know he brought on a lot of players. Look, it is an interesting one because if we get a result Saturday, we've put it behind us, haven't we? And everyone can move on.
Let's hope so. Touch wood.
But if we go there and it falls a bit flat and we lose, which we hope we don't, then people might say, has that had an effect? But then I think a lot of people at the minute, the focus is all on the number 9, the striker. And if we capture someone within the next, 26 hours, I think it's 11 o'clock tomorrow night, I think everyone will be happy then. If we don't, and then we go there. But then I think not just McKenna will be coming under the spotlight then. I think Mark Ashton, Matt, will come under the spotlight then if we fail, because there will be a lot of people who will say this is our best chance of getting out of this league and getting into the Premier League, where we're sitting.
It is.
And of some of the things he said, I think in November, we've got the finances, we're going to attack it in January. Well, people could say quite easily, well, you've not really attacked it, Mark, because we've signed a League Two striker who might turn out, he might be really good. But other than that, you've not filled that gap. Yeah. You've not filled that gap. You've had over a month because it was Boxing Day when George Hurst went down. And you've not... And it's another thing. When you see Norwich, I think Norwich is signing that Dutch striker, Van Hooijdonk.
Sidney Van Hooijdonk. Yeah.
And then you think...
From Bologna.
You think, where is Town's scouting network abroad in Europe? Do we look there? I don't know. These are the questions. Well, if you work for the East Anglian, maybe you would be asking these. Or when the next fans or when the next fans forum is. I don't know when that is, because there'll obviously probably be one, I would have thought, between now and the end of the season. That's when you could go there and you could say, Mark, look, why didn't we go to Europe? Why didn't we push the boat out? And then look, Ashton will probably have all the answers because he's really good at that. We know that. But I think sometimes you do it the nail on the head. I don't think they ask them questions. As supporters, we'd like to know.
Yeah.
I know we want all the answers, and you can't get all the answers, Matt, because I know that's football. They're not going to give you everything. But I think sometimes ask a little bit more. Go a bit deeper.
That Van Hooijdonk Norwich have got in, while getting in, so he's coming in on loan from Bologna. He scored 16 goals at Heerenveen in the Dutch league last season and about 30 appearances. So he obviously knows where the net is. 6'2", I think he is. But yes, a valid question. But look, we've had Mark Ashton on the show, and he said, the European market was a funny one when he was talking about Brexit and stuff, but doesn't seem to have stopped other people.
But he also said, didn't he, that January is he said this before. He doesn't like dealing in January.
No, he doesn't
it's a real tough turn. And look, we've gone over this before when it was this time last season. We had the pick of the players, didn't we? Where we were the big fish, and now we're not. But look, it's going to be an interesting last day. But
it's exciting because how many times under the Marcus Evans era did we hear there's going to be no moves at Ipswich?
No business. There's going to be no incoming. Oh, bloody hell!
Let's wait and see. Let's see what they pull. Let's see what they pull out.
Is it Alcaraz from Southampton?
Oh yeah,
he's going to Juventus.
Is he going there? Is he?
He's going on loan, but that's why obviously they've signed that David Brooks, I think, because he's
a good. It's great to see him recovered from his cancer illness, wasn't it? I mean, he's a really good player.
But it shows you the levels, doesn't it, that they're on. They can attract someone. But it's interesting when you think obviously Southampton, much bigger club than Bournemouth. Yet now they're having. We'll have him. We'll loan him for.
That was like when we had another meltdown. I had probably not you. Was when we were loaning players from Barnsley. Do you remember that Luke Thomas kid?
Yeah, then I remember going to town on Twitter that night, and there was you arguing with some Barnsley fans, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah. That's when they had Valerian Ismail in charge, wasn't it? Yeah, it was one because they should have got relegated the season before. Yeah, that wound me up big time. Well,
how is he still at Watford anyway?
They like him. I think they're giving him a new contract.
I'm amazed that Watford have actually gone a whole season so far. Let's look how they're getting on tonight. They are actually playing tonight.
Yeah, they are.
Look how they're getting on. They're playing Sheffield Wednesday tonight. Let's have a little look how they're getting on. 0-0 half time. 0-0 half time.
My dark horse. They have crept up, haven't they? But like you said to Ollie just a minute ago, there's a lot of teams in that kind of outside the playoffs down to mid-table. A couple of wins and you're knocking on the door, aren't you?
This is business end of the season, as they say now. And if you put that run together, I would have thought West Brom in fifth, Matt. I think they'll be okay. They'll be in the playoffs. But I think sixth place. I mean, there's probably 6, 7, 8 teams if you put a winning run together could quite easily jump into there. And then when you go into that playoffs, it's normally that sixth place team who've had that real good spell of form, aren't they? And then they're probably the dangerous team to play.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's another question for you from my crossroads / wilderness to list. I was watching a show back. See if you can guess it. I was watching a show back last night. A freak result. You'll never see it again inside a decade. And the Gov described it as, I was feeling sick as a dog. I still am. It pisses me off tremendously. And ironically, but we're still second. Which game was that, do you think?
A freak result. Was it last season?
Yeah.
Would it have been Oxford?
4-4.
Oh, Charlton.
Charlton, yeah. So the reason I bring this up, again, that a shock result, a freak result, everything we were saying Saturday, right? And unfortunately for the town, our league run after that, we had 10 games from that. That night was Halloween, which you had in your little caption said ghoulish, which I thought was quite good. Totally ghoulish or something. Right through to Oxford in the fog in the January. So not too far removed from where we are now a year on. We took 14 points.
Gov's so salty here, isn't he? Look at these comments.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's feeling poor. It's the cough medicine, isn't it? He's still got the ump pain over the odds. But the question was, we took
Gov's saying, right, he's got a sore throat. Now, tell everybody about yesterday afternoon on the WhatsApp. How many voice notes was he put on there?
Oh, God, he was singing and all sorts, wasn't he?
I mean...
Unbelievable. But yes.
Now he's paying the price.
So Charlton to Oxford, we took 14 points from 10. So again, freak result, and we didn't react brilliantly. And this is when I went through one of my other meltdowns where I didn't know if McKenna was the right man, and I wanted Neil Warnock to come in and, well, I wanted McKenna to change his tactics really. But but we saw then that a knock of confidence. Luckily we recovered from it. But what are you thinking? I mean, I suppose it's in line a little bit with the McKenna question from earlier. Yeah, are we thinking the players will recover from Saturday?
Well, when you look, like you say, what was that? 14 points from 10. So the games come thick and fast now. Before you know it, in February you've got Preston, obviously away, and then West Brom next Saturday on Sky.
That's not
then Valentine's night here at the Den at Millwall. You got a two away games that week. I mean, Valentine's. Who would not want to be anywhere else? Who would not want to be anywhere else with their one love, Ipswich Town, at the Den on Valentine's night? And then the Saturday, Swansea away. So you got 2 away games that week. Then the rearranged game against Rotherham, and then Town are back at home on the 24th against Birmingham.
David Bergen's coming into that game, isn't he?
Yeah, and then you're into March, and then you've got Plymouth away. And then on the Tuesday night there, you've got Bristol City at home. So and then Cardiff away. So there's points here, Matt, that if you're really serious about getting in the top 2, and I said this the other week, when you go to Preston, we've got to go there and win on Saturday. Because of Southampton now, the form that they're on, they'd go there. Like when they went to Swansea the other week, they rolled them over 3-1. And this is what we've got to do. If we're really serious about getting that second spot, you've got to go there on Saturday. A lot of the times, you go to deep down, you'd say, if you took a point, you'd probably be happy with that. But I think you've got to that stage of the season now where it's wins that are going to get you where you want to go.
A draw ain't going to hold off Southampton, is it? All Leeds come to that matter, I don't think.
No, because you look at the runs that them teams are on, and I think Leeds have won their first 5 games of the new year, the first time they've done it in the history. Southampton, 21 games unbeaten. And I know I think they've got Rotherham and they've got Huddersfield.
Huddersfield, that's it, yeah.
Darren Moore obviously sacked, so they're going to be under new management again.
So
this is, well, maybe. But this is the time, isn't it, where we need to put a run of wins together now. Because what was it we said, I think, on Sunday's show? Was it 2 wins in the last 9 we've had? Something like that?
Yeah, 2 in the last 9. Yeah. Absolutely. And look, I don't want to be doom and gloom. I want to see Kieran McKenna take this team into the Premier League. But it does feel to me, if with Southampton on this run, well, as Martin has said, it's got to come to an end at some point. But you've got to think, like I saw Sam Parkin chatting with Ben Bloom on his show last night, and Sam Parkin said there's good as gimmies that you can get in this league. We can't afford for Southampton, while we're stuttering, we can't afford for Southampton to overtake us and suddenly we're 6 behind them or 5 points behind them. Because that is a mountain to climb when they're on this form, right?
Yeah, because you expect them to win them games. Like you say, they're not gimmies, and it is the championship, but they're probably almost when you want to take
like that, right? Yeah.
So Preston, you've got to go there Saturday. And even if I think now it's not, for me, it's not so much about performance, it's about result now. Because you're at that stage of the season, and you've come so far, and we've done brilliantly. We have done brilliantly.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
And whatever happens, and I said this Sunday, whatever happens, I know when you look at the end of the season, Maidstone will be there. That will always be there as that result, and people will say, "Do you remember that season when next season when the cup draw comes around?"
And Kieran don't deserve that. Kieran doesn't deserve that.
And we'll talk about it again because we will, because that's what fans do. But whatever happens this season, it will be a success, Matt. For in my opinion, because it's going to be second or it's going to be playoffs. You know, we're almost nailed on, aren't we? And what is it?
Yeah,
16 points is it? 16 points.
Yeah. To
away.
Hit the par. Yeah.
So you nailed on in the playoffs. No one knows what happens when you get there, but it will still be a successful season. To be a real successful season, this is where you go to Preston and win, go to Millwall and win, go to Swansea and win, because like I just said, Southampton will go to them places and win, and they're ripping it up at the minute. And I know they've got to go. They've obviously got to go to Leicester away. They've got to go to ours. They've got to go to Leeds.
Top six, haven't they? To
West
go
Brom
away
as well.
home.
Yeah, West Brom.
Yeah.
But they play them all. Yeah. They're dotted about. There's not as though they play a couple of them back to back. You know, where you could have a couple of dodgy results. But we just got to see what happens, haven't we? But it's all about the next 24 hours getting that number 9, because I think it's so vital for the team. And like I said on Sunday, it's so vital as well for a player like Broadhead, Martin, because Matt, because his form has dropped off. We can't sit here and say it hasn't, but I think a lot of that is to do with George Hurst not being there.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, as I said Sunday, fair play to Broadhead for playing that 9 role. He probably doesn't want to be in there at all, but he's a different kettle of fish, like I said. Different physical specimen to Hurst, isn't he? That's why that Gallagher would look good. I mean, I watched him, albeit against Wrexham. He looked good. I liked the runs he made. He probably wasn't as much of a runner as what Hurst is, but look, in that game he got a goal. He's got a couple of assists, I think. He looked really good, but I don't know why.
But would you be making an 11th hour call to Bournemouth and saying, right, what sort of deal can we strike up now between now and the end of the season for Kiefer Moore to come on loan?
Well, that's another thing, right? I mean, look, if you're prepared to pay $2 million for Gallagher and he ain't going to come, you know, can you use that money towards his wages, for example? Because you were prepared to lose it $2 million on a player, so why not? Kind of a make way?
Would there be a loan fee? There'd probably be a loan fee, wouldn't there?
Potentially. I don't know what that would be. I mean, look, a lot of this happens behind closed doors, doesn't it? In terms of you've got to pay a loan fee. Look, they were talking. What was his face? Calvin Phillips. Loan fees for him to come out of. Where is he? Where is he at? Man City.
Yeah,
Man City. Newcastle. He's like, West Ham. $8 million loan fee, was it? I mean, look, we're not in that ballpark, but the teams that have been linked with him, look, we've got more dough than what Cardiff have, and we're probably on par with Sunderland. So I mean, look, we're all in the same boat, kind of thing. Either he wants to come and play games, or he's going to sit on the bench at Bournemouth. I don't know. I mean, look, I've always really liked him, but I did like the look of that Gallagher. I tell you what I do like, actually, is that Paul Mullen at Wrexham, who also played in that game. Bit of a journeyman striker, 29, but he does hold the ball up, but he doesn't bring the same physical attributes, so maybe it's not a good fit. But in terms of holding the ball up and shooting from distance, he looks a good player. But who knows? There could be a curveball. Might still be in Gancam from Frankfurt. Who knows? So, I mean, look, let's finish off. Look, we've almost done an hour. Martin probably wants to get in bed and get some kip. What's the team then for Saturday? So Haladki obviously returns, right?
Yeah, I think your back four is probably Clark, Wolfie. George Edmondson, player of the month. Back from the cold.
Right. Great to see.
See, Cameron Burgess is still going out in... they got through, didn't they? Yeah. They got through Australia, so he's obviously not going to be back for another week or so. Davis, obviously.
Now, who's your two going to be? Who's the two going to be?
Luongo reunited in the middle of the pitch. I think that's a given, isn't it, really?
Yeah. It's the best. It's the best combo. I mean, look, we discussed Jack Taylor at length, didn't we, on Sunday? And he seems to be better from the bench. Just seems to be how it is at the moment, doesn't he? Look, he played very well. For all the criticisms he got against Matchday, he was good against Leicester when he came on. And that was only a few days removed, wasn't it?
And then you got, obviously, Burns will be on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Chappers in the 10. Sarmiento starts for me on the left. I think he's shown enough. He's obviously got the goal at Leicester. He was our best player, arguably, on Saturday against Maidstone, and they took him off after...
Yeah, ghost pass plays like a prime Dos Santos when he came to us on loan from Tottenham.
So I think he plays, and then I think up top, look, we don't know if we're going to get...
Who's it going to be?
No links tonight, Colin. No links tonight.
Sorry, Colin. We'd get you on otherwise.
Sunday. And then, I think, look, Andy says there, I think Caden plays up front.
I think
he'll be your 9. And then it depends. Look, if you get a Gallagher in, he's obviously match ready. You probably chuck him straight in.
You could, couldn't you?
Al, I don't think Ali's going. No, I think he'll probably be on the bench. I mean, when would he get back from? Obviously, they were knocked out on. They were knocked out on Monday, weren't they?
He'll be back now. I'd imagine.
Private plane. Get on the Mark Ashton jet. On the
from
Mark
experience,
Ashton jet.
for tournaments, you're always ready to go the day after to get the players back. Certainly,
So
that
Tuesday.
was the case
So probably might have been in possibly today, first day, if not tomorrow.
Got to get his stuff from Wimbledon. Clear his desk. Yeah.
I think he'll be on the bench. I think he
First
might
training
get
session tomorrow, maybe.
I think he might get 20 minutes off the. It depends how the game goes on Saturday, doesn't it? Really.
Breaking news in the comments here. Frank has said his Mo has been in touch. Moore is close. That'd be good.
Well, keep your eyes on the socials.
Everyone seems to think it's been it has been an underwhelming window, this quite frankly, but would that make it a really good window to get?
Yeah, obviously. Look, Kiefer Moore's he's got undoubted ability, and I know a lot of people say, "Well, don't ever think that it's the Kiefer Moore we had under Mick McCarthy, guys, because it's a totally different beast,
a different haircut for one."
Totally different. I actually see him play for Yeovil, Matt, when they played against Town down at Hewish Park.
Yeah,
I know all that way. Christoph Berra scored. Berra the Braveheart. 1-0.
Braveheart. Used to love him. I worked with someone who saw him regularly when he was at Torquay. He was a big. He was. I mean, we've had him on the show, Matt Badcock, who's the editor of the non-league paper, and he said, like, when he made the move, he said he's been linked with loads of clubs, and obviously Ipswich was one who got him. So he was obviously on the radar for a lot of teams, and we took a punt. I mean, I'm pleased he's had a really good career since, because it could have just gone pear-shaped for him, I suppose, and gone back into the.
Did you think it was a funny one at Town, because he went to Barnsley, didn't he, on loan?
Yeah, scored goals.
He scored a lot of goals, but then he come back, and then he never even had a chance. Then you thought he's had that good loan spell. Even maybe he'll come back, and then they'll. But Mick sort of, I think he'd made his mind up. Then what did we sell him for? About 750.
750 was to Rotherham, was it? Was it Rotherham?
Yeah, which was decent when you think we signed him for about 50 grand. Was it? It was about 50 grand. We got him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He got me 2 tickets once for the derby at Carrow Road.
You'll be able to get him on the show if he signs.
Yeah, contacted him on the socials. He said there'll be 2 tickets at the Norwich City ticket office. Went down there. Kiefer Moore players. There we go. Thank you very much.
What a man. He's coming back.
But yeah, look, I think if he comes in, you know what you're going to get with him. He might not quite have the run in of a Hurst, but you know he's got the physicality, Matt.
Might even score some big goals.
Yeah, he'll be a threat from corners. You know, he's good in the air. He scored goals at this level. You know, he knows the level. Look, he's got promotion when he was at Bournemouth on his CV. So if he does come, hopefully it's the ground running. That's what we need, don't we? Whoever this 9 is, you need them to hit the ground running straight away.
That'd be a really good signing. I do feel like, you know, people say you've got to trust in McKenna and Ashton, but you know, they've not let us down yet in terms of signings. I mean, look, Hurst and Broadhead last year.
Do you think Kieran will be frustrated if we don't get another striker?
I would imagine so. Yeah, I would imagine so. Because he's put us in such a great position. And you want to be able to capitalise on it. And we always look back, don't we, to the McCarthy season where we were in that top 2 and we didn't strengthen, and we only clawed into the playoffs on the last day because Reading beat Derby.
But where does that get, right? Say for a scenario, we don't sign a 9, right? And then we fall away and we finish 3rd, which still be a good season.
Yeah. But disappointing.
In the back of Kieran's mind, does he think then, you know, because McKenna won't be at Town forever. This is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You know, would he think then, did they really back me in that window? Yeah.
Very good point. I mean, what clubs will say publicly is sometimes very differently to what people are thinking privately. I mean, just look at Johnny Jackson over at Ahmedi. He always had his head turned. Well, the deal was done. We'd already known he'd had his medical by then and was doing interviews with Town. So, you know, maybe. I just want Ipswich to be able to give McKenna every opportunity. But I think the American ownership and Ashton will do their very best. And what can you do? You chase a striker, albeit we obviously think there's others behind them. And Alan Nixon, he's pretty much on the money with a lot of things with certain agents, seem to think the deal was done, and then suddenly they've turned around today and say it's not happening. That's not their fault. That's Blackburn just changing.
But that's when you think, you hope you've got B, C, and D.
Well, you got Vines in the fire, haven't you? Yeah,
someone else lined up.
Let's hope so. If it's Kofi, right?
But we've all seen Sunderland Till I Die, and we've all seen that great clip when it's Will Grigg and it's 1.5 million, and I think in the end they go to 4.
Yeah,
but
that is a huge jump.
But hopefully, if Town did that with Sam Gallagher, it would turn out better than
he did.
Because he was really poor, wasn't he, at Sunderland, Will Grigg? He was terrible.
Yeah, it really was.
So we just got to keep our fingers crossed, and Ashton's going to be, his phone's going to be red hot. I'm sure they're working round the clock trying to get this player in. Could
even hear something this evening. You never know, do you? Keep your eyes peeled to Sky Sports News. Certainly tomorrow is going to be the day. So let's wait and see. So we could be back. We could be back tomorrow evening. Are you still off work? Have you got to be up early Friday?
No. I'm back at work. Don't worry. I'll be here tomorrow night if there's a signing. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. We're ready to rumble.
We are indeed ready to rumble, as we were on Sunday, of course. What's your prediction then as we go into Preston? Well, so he said 3-1 to the Town, which is great to hear.
I see him against Leeds at home, and they played well. And that Liam Miller, he's a very good player. Yeah, he's one you've got to watch him because he's good at shooting from range. You can cut him from that left. He's one of them players, Matt. They do it now, don't they? They like to play him on like right footers on the left and then left footers on the right, so they can cut in. And he's really good at shooting. He's got a great goal there against great goal against Leeds. I think he's Canadian, isn't he?
Is that really
Canadian? Yeah, he's a Canadian. He's Canadian international.
Oh, is he? Okay, brilliant. Friend of Jason Goodall, Craig Forrest.
But then Hamady. But then Hamady, I'm still struggling with his name. He's an Iraq international. He's got the broadest Scouse accent you've ever heard. That.
Yeah, it's really good. A bit like Toto. He was the same, wasn't he?
Yeah, Toto. But look, deep down, like I said a little while ago, I'm not really that bothered how we play now. I'd love us to go there, free flowing, and score 2 or 3 goals and win comfortably. I think it'll be a bit of a cagey game. I think first goal's vital Saturday, because I think Ollie said that, didn't he, in the chat? And it's good. I think it might be a battle like the wide players, like he said. Yeah. Potts and Davis one side, Burns and Miller down the other. I think we might just edge it. I'll go 2-1. I think it's a really important. I do get a little bit where you come from. I know we've had some joking this week. But I do get where you come from a little bit, because you do need to turn that form around from 2 wins in 9, because Southampton going like an absolute train. Leeds play Friday night. Bristol City are a bit unlucky, Matt. They played Coventry away last night, and then they're playing again on Friday because they're on Sky. Leeds are there. Leeds could actually go above us. I know they'd have played 2 games more, but then it all tightens up, doesn't it? And the pressure comes on that a little bit more. So yeah, let's just hope. I think there's going to be a really good support there. I think Town have sold about 3,000 tickets.
Is it the whole stand behind that goal?
Yeah, we haven't sold out. We haven't sold out because it's obviously a long, long way to go. But 3,000 decent numbers to take up there. And let's hope that we can come back with the 3 points and get a little bit of a run going. If we get that striker in tomorrow, everyone's buzzing. But if they don't, I think everyone's going to be a little bit sort of, wary. And is it going to drop off? And are we going to fall out the top 2? It's a crossroads.
Could be in the wilderness. So many questions, not enough answers. Let's finish off with everyone's comments there. So Colin thinks 3-1. To us, James Sargent says 2-1 Town. What else have we got here? Sean Gladden, thanks for your super sticker earlier, Sean. That's 1-1, he thinks. I'm mindful to go for that, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw.
Yeah. I'd probably take that after Saturday. Josh Russell, hope you're doing well, Josh. 3-1 Town. I think Preston to score first. I think I might have a heart attack if that happens. Charlie Settersfield, 2-0 to the Town. Chris, all the way down there in New Zealand, says 2-0 Ipswich. I would probably go for 1-1 after the Maidstone defeat, but I do like 2-1, and I like the idea of Al Hamady coming on and
so Govers replied. I messaged him earlier. Are we doing a transfer show tomorrow? He's put, you can do. Breathing is all I can focus on, except salty comments.
Matt Stannard, is the Zen Master coming to Preston? No, I'm now in a new vibe now. I'll be at home meditating. Okay then. Well, let's leave it like that. Hopefully we'll all see you again tomorrow.
Well, yeah, we'd love to be back and do another show tomorrow, wouldn't we? With a brand new shiny number 9.
Yeah, that'd be
great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Could be a late one.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, stick the coffee on. Could be a late one. Let's wait and see. Well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Rich. Thanks, Ollie, for joining us. I must now go back to my my Namaste mantras, and we'll hopefully see you all tomorrow. Good night.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down low and I am blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. Hopeless lover. I woke up all soaked in sweat, with chills running down my neck. I'm going crazy from just the thought of you.